Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Santosh, founder CEO of GIEOM, and I have with me Bhavna Malish, CTO and co-founder of the company. Banking is a people business. A lot of automation has happened, straight-through processing, API banking, but employees play a very important role in the success of the bank. When it comes to compliance, there is always a need for a human intervention or an intelligence to be applied. Banks spend a lot of money in ensuring compliance is always kept and there's no breach. And this could be quite expensive for certain banks. So what we do is we help banks to reduce the cost of compliance, at the same time improve operational efficiency. We are present in Temenos' marketplace. So we are now logging into T24, the core banking system from Temenos. We have an integration with them. So when I'm doing a transaction, there's a button over there which says interlink. When I click on the interlink, a pop-up comes from GIEOM, giving the user a good understanding of how to do this transaction in the bank. So when I click on GIEOM, it takes me to a virtual visualization of how to do this activity in the bank. I land into that place saying that create an account. When I'm creating an account, if I don't know how to do that transaction, click on a button, it opens up a simulator environment of that transaction in the IT system. Technologies keep changing. People need to cope up with the change. So when I click on it, it takes me to a virtual reality of how to do that transaction in that IT system. Suppose I'm launching a new product, a home loan product, a car loan product. People need to keep pace with that. There could be some regulatory requirements while doing that transaction. I can go to the second button and say, show it to me. I can practice how to do that transaction in the bank. This gives a lot of confidence to the user that I know how to do the work when things change. Now let's come back to the visualized end-to-end flow. There's another transaction. The first activity in the process says, I need to have a document to be filled. Which document? Same way, it gives me the document over there. And then if there is another activity that says, I'm doing this activity for a particular reason, a compliance reason. Compliance keeps changing all the time in the bank. How do I keep my people in track and pace with the changing regulatory environment? So click on it, it shows me this is that extract from the regulation that I need to know while I'm doing this transaction. All this that I said so far is related to showing the person how to do the work. If you give the person a full understanding of how to do the work, a lot of your compliance problems are taken care of. But that's not the end of it. There is another transaction type there where I need to have a business control. That means I need to have a human intervention in that activity. So let me define a human business control over there. Here I'm opening an account, a small and medium enterprise account. I want to put in what are the type of documents I need to collect as part of this activity. Here we are defining the registration of the company, the board's resolutions. We put it over there and say, when I'm opening an account, I expect the user to collect these documents or verify these documents. This is like a type of dynamic checklist. This information is kept in the GIEOM database. But when I do a transaction in an IT system, when I complete the transaction, a pop-up comes and says, look, Tom, you have done these transactions. We know you have done this transaction. Our intelligence says, because of your behavioral pattern over the period of time, we want to ensure that you produce evidence that you followed every step that you are supposed to follow from a human point of view. There are many steps that cannot be automated where a human has to interfere. So this is one of those steps. When I go into that, Tom comes into the GIEOM's action center. He needs to now produce evidence that, yes, I picked up the right things, put it over there, and that goes to his supervisor, in this case, John, saying that, look, Tom has produced the right thing, verify whether he has done the right things. If you get the response back that Tom has produced the right things over there, that goes into the artificial intelligence which is powering GIEOM at the back. We take behavioral aspects of the people based on various parameters. This could be transactional nature, human in nature, environmental nature, or organization specific. Suppose the end of the month, a lot of volume, a lot of transactions, people tend to make mistakes. A holiday season coming, we see there is again people making mistakes. So what we do is we take all these parameters, create a behavioral pattern at the back of the system. So it's not that every person who's doing a transaction gets a pop-up. It's that matching situation where I'm doing a transaction, and if the behavioral pattern says I need to be cross-checked, I get a pop-up. If you do it 100%, it's again becoming a costly affair. So what we try to do, we ensure that people come to the system, do the transaction the way they do, and while they're doing the transaction, we intelligently do checks and balances so that the cost of compliance is reduced and people get to do the right thing at the right time. So we are not removing the human from the system. What we are doing is we are powering people with more efficiency and information, and then checklists to ensure that they don't make mistakes which normally happen in a large organization. What we are asking, banks, look at us as a way of improving your operational efficiency, manage your change, and also reduce the cost of human-related compliance status. Thank you very much.